Many of us count ourselves lucky if we don't find any rodents in our attics, but these folks made some strange discoveries in their attics. Superman comic book. A husband and wife, faced with eviction from their home by their bank, were digging through boxes as they prepared to turn the home over to the bank and found the key to paying off their debts and keeping their home. A 1938 Action Comics #1 Superman comic, worth an estimated $1.5 million, had been tucked amongst 50 boxes of worthless comics stored in the attic. Considered the holy grail of comic book collecting, they have no idea how long the comic had been in the attic, but the house has been in the family for a long time. Hitler's collection of music. A captain in the Russian military intelligence unit, Lew Besimensky, made a discovery in 1945 when going through the captured headquarters of the Nazi Party in Berlin, Hitler's collection of music. It seems Lew took the collection away to his attic in the family's summer home in Moscow, but didn't want to be seen as an opportunist who took the collection for money, because music was his personal passion and he seemed to want to preserve it. After Lew passed away, his daughter decided to talk publicly about the collection of more than 100 records. $5.2 million figurine. After George Davis, the owner of Manhattan's Hammer Galleries, died, his family was going through the estate and made a rare discovery hidden in the attic, a Faberge figure custom made by Tsar Nicholas II for his wife Empress Alexandra in 1912. George purchased the delicate figurine, believed to be one of only 50 in existence, in 1934 for $2,250. The Russian figurine was authenticated and expected to fetch about $800,000, but in the 15-minute auction, the piece sold for $5.2 million. $100 million painting. A French family in Toulouse, France, had to repair water damage and needed to access their roof. They broke down a door they couldn't find a key for. Behind the door, they found a painting that is believed to be the 400-year-old work of Michelangelo Merisi da Caravaggio. Though the authenticity has yet to be verified, it is believed that the work had been in the house for over 150 years and was probably placed in the attic because it depicts the gory biblical heroine Judith beheading Holofernes, which some previous owner of the home found disturbing. The piece is thought to be worth over $100 million. When Rudi Schlatner and his family fled Czechoslovakia after World War II, his father hid many family possessions in the attic. Now, 70 years later, Rudi returned to the home and was astounded to find the treasures right where his family had left them. At the end of World War II, Germans were expelled from Czechoslovakia, and the possessions were forfeited, so none of the items can be returned to Rudi or his family. The home is now a kindergarten, and the collection of items is on display at a local museum. When Tracy of Rock Hill, Charlotte, started hearing weird noises in the attic and witnessed nails popping out of her ceiling, she expected ghosts or animals had taken up residence in the attic. Instead, she found a man she had dated 12 years ago had decided her attic would be a nice, cozy place to live. The ex-boyfriend had recently been released from jail, but Tracy had not seen him since she had paid him to do some odd jobs around the house over a year ago. Unfortunately, the man escaped before police could arrive and is still on the loose. Martin Luther King's tapes. When Stefan Tull's father went into a nursing home, he discovered a 50-year-old recording of Dr. Martin Luther King in the attic. The casual interview with Dr. King was recorded in Chattanooga, Tennessee, for a book about nonviolence in the civil rights movement, a book that was never completed. This recording, made 3 years before the I Have a Dream speech, is clear and of incredibly high quality. Police recovered a stolen Stradivarius violin, known as the X-Lipinski, hidden in a suitcase from an attic in Milwaukee. The 300-year-old violin, which is worth millions, was stolen from top violinist Frank Almond by a perpetrator who used a stun gun to get him to drop the instrument before taking it away to a waiting getaway vehicle. Police have apprehended 3 suspects related to the theft and expect to return the violin to the proper location, and it appears to be in good condition. The Milwaukee County Sheriff's Bomb Squad was called out when a strange discovery was made in a local attic. 4 live hand grenades were found. The grenades were over 40 years old and were not safe as they had deteriorated and were unsettled. The sheriff's office took the grenades to a remote area where they were able to safely detonate them. The police did not disclose the address of the home where the grenades were found. A Dutch collector who found a painting in his attic knew he had something special and suspected the artwork was by Vincent van Gogh. But the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam told him they couldn't authenticate the piece. Persistence paid off, and now new techniques to authenticate works of art have allowed the Sunset at Mount Major painting to take its rightful place as a masterpiece and once-in-a-lifetime attic discovery. The piece was lost for over 100 years and now is on display at the Van Gogh Museum. 20 cousins will be sharing $566,000 from the discovery of baseball cards that had been untouched for over 100 years in the attic of Carl Hensch, who passed away in the 1940s. Hensch had given out cards at his meat market in the early 1900s, and it is believed he stashed the extras in his attic, which is where Karl Kistner and his cousin found them. The cards were in pristine condition and included Hall of Famers Cy Young, Ty Cobb, and Honus Wagner. A mummified head. Most people keep things like Christmas decorations and broken furniture in their attics. Jacques Bollinger, a retired tax collector, kept a mummified head in his attic. For a long time, experts believed the head belonged to Henri IV, and all evidence pointed to the fact that this was indeed the long-missing head of the king. But recent DNA tests have proven that the head did not belong to the French royal. There are plans to give this skull a proper burial, and the mystery still remains about where the head of Henri IV is. In Germany, a 10-year-old boy found a casket with Egyptian hieroglyphs that contains a mummy in his attic. It is possible that the mummy was picked up by the boy's grandfather during a trip to North Africa in the 1950s. Authorities have not determined the age of the mummy, but believe it to be a forgery because the wrappings are machine-made and a scan of the remains indicates some inconsistencies. As long as authorities can determine that the remains are at least a couple hundred years old, no investigation will be necessary. Looking behind a panel in their attic, a group of Norwegian students discovered a World War II-era bolt hole complete with an alarm system. Hidden for 70 years, the room contained a map of Britain and northern France pinned to a wall along with a sign that loosely translates as, "If you have a bad stomach, you do not have access." The landlord had suggested to the Norwegian students that there might be some sort of hidden room, and when they took a break from their studies, they found the secret room. When Josh Ferrin bought a new home, he didn't expect to find a stash of valuables in the attic. Tucked away where it couldn't be seen was a collection of cash and coins. More extraordinary than the find is what Josh decided to do with it. He returned it to the previous owner of the home. The previous owner, Arnold Bangerter, had been saving up the money and putting it in ammo boxes. He then stored it in the attic for over a decade and had passed away prior to the house being sold. Josh returned the treasure to the children of Mr. Bangerter. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe.